Hi guys, in this episode of the Nostalgia Trip, I'm gonna be continuing with my reactions to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2012 series. Currently we are on Season 4, Episode 7, The Arena of Carnage, and Episode 8, The War for Dimension X. And based on the names, I don't think these episodes are gonna be as fun, or at least like as filler and as playful as the last two episodes, but at least it seems like it might be moving the plot forward, especially the one that is called The War for Dimension X. I'm curious what that one's gonna be like. But before we get into the reaction, as usual, I do want to remind you that you can get a full-length version of these reactions over on my Patreon or on my Ko-fi account, both of which are linked down in the description below. But again, if you don't want to go through that and you just want to stick with these YouTube versions, that's completely fine. The other thing is just an option that you can take. And it's also going to be greatly supporting me and allowing me to do these videos and incentivize me to do these videos much more often. And also, I do want to tell you, since at the point at which I'm recording this video, we're still not at 1,000 subscribers. I've decided that once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna be doing a video in which I want to do a Q&A and answer your guys' questions. And I've gotten already quite a decent amount of questions, but if any of you have any questions for me, be it in regards to the show, or that I'm reacting to, or any of the shows that I'm reacting to, or more personal questions, feel free to comment them down below and I will answer them in the video. But again, if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can just stick with watching this reaction. I just want to have more interaction with you guys, that's all. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I have to say. So without further ado, let's get into the reaction, starting off with Episode 7, The Arena of Carnage, in 3, 2, 1. That's kind of cool, I gotta say. I like that aesthetic of it being like a game.
Finish him.
Seriously, what kind of drugs are the writers of this show on?
Oh yeah, that's how I do it. That was a mediocre.
They're really having a lot of fun with the fact that this is like a cartoon.
Head down that corridor and you'll find the passage that leads directly to the armory.
Oh yeah, this'll be
Mikey,
steel and pepperoni.
focus.
What? These creatures? Again?
How did you not see them?
Space apples.
Capture them!
How did you not see them?
What? I'm not running. Too much fusion towards this. Back to the airlock.
Wait, why the hell do they all of a sudden have their old weapons?
Dude, bring it on, Hornheads.
What happened to their space weapons? Is that a mistake? Seriously, is that a mistake that they made when they were doing this episode? Why the hell do they have their Earth weapons?
But sire, these creatures...
Man, these guys' horn are really cool.
Perhaps they will make good sport.
Oh, are we going to that arena where the Triceratops have battles? Because I remember there was something about that in the 2003 series.
Oh yes, sweet, sweet air.
Yes, wicked and cruel. There is no telling what monsters they'll be forced to fight.
It's so weird hearing David Tennant argue with Casey, because I already know like David Tennant's voice. He has such a distinguishable voice that to me it sounds like this cartoon character talking to the Doctor from Doctor Who.
It's kind of like fried calamari. Heads up, neighbor. Extra crispy for you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. I wonder what they're gonna have us fight.
Fresh meat always fights a spasmosaur. You will meet a quick and painful end.
I don't suppose there's a way of stopping it?
Okay, they're fighting Alien Cthulhu, it seems like. Oh, I see why it's impossible to reach the white spot, because this thing has eyes on every direction.
You see that one
Spasmosaur is looking hungry today.
But this is not a dinosaur. Why do you call it Saurus? It's not in any way a Saurus.
Zeno, how did you end up in here?
I am a traitor to the Empire. I was once a respected Triceraton warrior, but I disagreed with the Emperor's plan to find the Heart of Darkness.
The black hole generator?
There is no honor in a weapon that destroys worlds from afar. For saying such things, I was thrown into this...
It's basically a nuke, essentially.
Oh.
Up again, aliens.
They're gonna end up fighting Xeno, let's be real here. They're going to have to fight him. April, what are you doing?
When did you learn to do that?
The professor's training. The crystal shard I got from the Aeons helps me focus my powers.
Well, there it is. The first piece of the black hole generator. But how are we going to carry that big thing?
Good question. How? Man, he is really huge compared to the other Triceratons. I wasn't sure whether that was the case or whether it's just that now it looked like he was so huge. But no, he is huge. I don't think your breath is gonna be the only issue there. You're gonna be in the middle of space. Wait, what the fuck? What did April do there? We got the first piece. It's so weird, David Tennant saying Booyakasha. Okay. This was definitely an episode that was plot focused, so there wasn't as much excitement with this one, but I honestly still enjoyed it quite a lot. Like I said, I enjoy the filler episodes and they're fun and entertaining, but there is in the back of my head this issue that I have with it where I just want to get through with the story and then go for the filler episodes. And this episode was moving the plot along and it wasn't one of those filler episodes, and that's why I actually really enjoyed this one. Even though it wasn't as fun or as exciting necessarily, but it was still an entertaining episode and I liked it. It was essentially a little bit of a... I mean, it's essentially the same story as in the 2003 series, but a little bit different. It's essentially an adaptation of that episode. It has the friendly Triceraton who is against the rest of the Triceraton Empire, and he befriends the turtles. It's just the names are different, and I guess the sizes of him as well. But it's not that different overall, and there's the black hole weapon as well. Whereas back then, I don't remember when the turtles were... I think the turtles were escaping probably in the first... I mean, it must have been in the first 5 episodes. I think it was like episode 2 or 3 that they had to escape from the Triceraton's shape. And yeah, I really can't say which of those 2 episodes, whether this one or that original one from the 2003 series, I like more. I don't know. I obviously have a soft spot for the 2003 series because I love its vibe and its art style, and I just fucking love it. It's a great show. Well, I don't really have that for this episode, but it kind of gave me a little bit of those vibes because of how similar this episode is in execution. So yeah, this episode gets a pretty big pass for me. I did enjoy it quite a lot. I feel like I may end up overrating it a little bit though, because I honestly don't really have any nitpicks or criticisms about this episode. It felt like it flowed perfectly, which is why I want to give it a high rating of a 9.3 out of 10. I think it was a really entertaining episode. But I feel like I'm a little bit overrating it because of said similarity to the 2003 episode. So there's a little bit of a nostalgia blinding my sight for this episode. So yeah, I don't know. It is a pretty entertaining episode though, but I am really excited about the next episode because we're going to be getting into some crime stuff, and I'm curious exactly what that's going to be about. Because I also really hope that we get, I think his name was like Crank Prime or Crankster Prime, like the guy who is the only normal talking Crank. Like I really like him. And I also completely forgot until just now that the Utroms is the name for those things. The Krans are just a subsection of the Utroms who have split off and are like the evil Utroms. Which is kind of interesting, I guess. Both keeping the Utrom name from the 2003 series and having the Krang name from the 80s series. But yeah, I'm really excited about that episode. So I guess without further ado, let's get into episode 8, The War of Dimension X, in 3, 2, 1. Mona Lisa?
We share a mutual enemy. The Triceratons are formidable, but if we combine the forces of our two races, we could eradicate them from the galaxy.
You'll find it valuable to have great warriors like the Salamandrians on your side.
What? Are you people crazy?
What?
We Krang invade other planets for one reason, to get away from the Triceratons, not fight them.
By avoiding this fight, you bring dishonor to your species.
Raka raka.
Wait, are they trying to team up the Salamandrians? And the Krang?
Have you seen the Triceratons? Those guys are huge! My advice, sister, get as far away from them as possible, and find a nice planet to mutate.
You disgust me, you soft pink coward.
I honestly am really struggling to think which side I am on the Krang versus the Triceratons.
Yes, I can.
Donnie, are you seriously trying to explain black holes to Mikey again? It's a waste of time.
Whatever. I can do science stuff.
I mean, it's pretty simple. It's a hole from which nothing can escape from.
It is when I do it. Beep bop. Beep bop.
And it's not clear exactly what the black hole will do to you. I mean, it's gonna crush you and it's gonna... it breaks the laws of physics and stuff.
Light can escape a black hole's gravitational singularity.
Why not? Beep bop. Boop bop.
But for all intents and purposes, if you get caught by a black hole, you're good as dead.
I don't get it.
Alright, enough goofing around, ninjas. We gotta stay focused. We need to find the next piece of the
So now they're back with their other weapons, so was that a mistake for last episode?
I still feel bad about having to leave April and Casey back on the ship to guard the other fragment. They seem pretty mad.
Why would you leave them to guard it? How are they gonna guard it against the Triceratons? Why don't you just go with the ship? It feels like incredibly short-sighted to leave the most valuable piece of the weapon with two teenagers.
Great, that's great. Now what?
Trust Mikey.
Right here, dog.
Hell yeah.
Calm down, Raph. You knew it was coming. Calm down.
Don't worry, Savage Mikey's got this, dude.
I love Savage Mikey.
Follow me.
I mean, trust him, he has the habit of being pretty good in this dimension. Bishop?
Who are you? How did you find our secret base? And why did you throw a rock at my head?
Bishop, good to see you, old friend.
Professor Honeycutt, good to see you. Despite your strange robotic body and your very large head.
Thank you, I think. But I need the attention of the full Utrom Council, please.
Anything for you, Zayton. This way.
So Bishop knew the turtles?
You guys got are cool.
I guess, now, in this timeline.
Professor and Turtles, allow me to present the Sacred High Council of the Utrom. Pawn, Rook, and Queen.
Whoa, they look just like Irma and Miss Campbell.
The council acknowledges the professor and the turtles.
Well, yeah, the Krang copied those bodies, probably.
The Krang and are worthy of your help.
The Utrom are already aware of the turtles and all of the good they have done for the planet Earth.
So why didn't you help us before?
Because Earthlings cannot always be trusted. You are an irrational species. Still, you should know the truth about the Utrom.
For
millions of Nextons, the Utrom all had individual personalities. Then one Nexton, an Utrom scientist named Krang, discovered the mutagen of the Crethatragon worm. Krang Prime was born, becoming deranged in the process. He used his horrible psychic powers to overcome millions of Utrom, turning them into slave copies of himself. And so the Krang were born.
There were many Utrom who resisted Prime's control, but now less than 100 exist.
What happened
Whoa.
to your race is a tragedy. But perhaps...
Is this sort of foreshadowing about what's gonna happen
We
with
were able to get
April?
one of the pieces of the black hole generator. The first piece corrupted the entire race of Aeons.
What?
Impossible!
No way!
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
I have a plan to destroy the generator once and for all.
Impossible. The heart of darkness.
Why is he
cannot be
French?
destroyed. Utrom. We must discuss this.
I think the reason why they have them with individual bodies is to show their individuality.
Decision.
No! Good job, Bishop.
How I waited for this subprime.
You stole my body. She was my creation.
Oh, interesting.
Ah, my heart bleeds for you. Your Majesty.
Don't you dare touch her, you piece of shit.
Subprime.
Queen!
Fuck you, man. I hate him so much, but he's also a great villain.
Let's go, dude.
Goes to show how much giving a personality to a crime makes them an interesting villain.
Mona? Lisa? Whoa, is that your girlfriend? Keep it down, you'll hear.
You pathetic Utrom are nearly extinct while we Krang are totally awesome. Have I mentioned your tiara is lame and not awesome? Because it is.
He's such a petty asshole.
Ready to rescue me and destroy your sub-command center.
Ooh, look at you. You got real serious, didn't you? Whatever. Like we're scared of a few Utrom. Ooh, oh, I'm so scared. Look at me, I'm quivering.
I love him. He's such a good villain, man. He's so fun. Oh, there's a lot of them. I think we should retreat. We should get away out of there.
Booyakasha indeed, Michelangelo.
Yeah.
This has got to be the most pathetic sight ever.
It pains me how far you've fallen, Knight.
That name means nothing to me. I am now Krang Supreme.
Wait, his name is Knight? Should have aimed for the middle.
This might not seem like the time, but about those black hole generator fragments?
This may be our last stand. I will tell you, Professor. The next piece of the generator is...
Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's always the way, isn't it?
It is.
Hero, you were a true brother.
Oh, for the love of Krang. Everyone hates complete subservience to Krang Prime until they try it.
You are a traitor, Subprime. And you will fall.
That's so badass, man. I think I know what's gonna be the thumbnail for this one. For this video. Nope. You missed her. Just use your spider webs. Oh, he actually did. Are you serious? He actually did. God fucking damn it.
Yes, Krang Subprime is finally defeated.
I will go with you anywhere, Raphael.
Raka. I totally get mutants like Karai, but alien lizards? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well,
What are you waiting for? Now's the time for kissy nose.
Aw. That is so cute, man. I love him so much. I honestly don't know which relationship of the turtles is my favorite. I love them all. I wish they actually all happened at the same time so I could enjoy them all at the same time. I do really like Mikey and Renette a lot. I myself, you could say, I might have a crush on Renette. Karai is cool and fits with Leo. April, I mean, yeah, she's pretty standard, to be honest. But this relationship is also really cool. Like, I love them all, honestly. I really, really do. Yeah, this was a pretty fun episode. I really, really did enjoy it. I wonder, though, did they kick out the Cranks out of Dimension X now? Because that wasn't exactly clear. And I gotta say, it really goes to show how good of a villain Krang Supreme is, because he has personality, he's funny, he's crazy, and the fact that I even feel bad about him whenever he is scared of the Triceratons, like, they were writing him really good. The fact that I can feel bad about him, despite the fact that he's a villain and he wants to do evil things, I mean, that's just great writing, man. And he might be my favorite villain in the show, honestly. He's definitely the most entertaining to me out of all the villains that we've had. Not that we've had many, because this show loves to have Shredder even more than the 2003 series, because at least the 2003 series defeated Shredder by this point, but no, we still have him. And he's gonna be ultimately the final villain, and we don't really get any other overarching villains other than the Cranks as well. But I do like Shredder as well. But I really, really like a Krang Supreme, and I'm glad that we got to see Bishop again. Like, he looked amazing in this episode. He fought amazingly. I really, really liked the fights in this episode and how everybody worked together. It was great. Like, this was honestly, in a way, probably the best episode of the season so far. Because it had everything. It had great story, it had great character moments, great interaction, great fights, and great development for the plot. Like, this episode is genuinely like a 10 out of 10. Not the craziest or the most entertaining episode of this show or of this season, but it was like the most, the best in everything, you know? It has the highest average, in a way, is one would say, where, like, the characters were great, the fight was great, and the plot was great. While for some other episodes, maybe they are more funny and have more funny jokes, but they don't necessarily do as good of a plot, for example. But this episode, the average for everything is the highest, so I really, really do like this one. I like that we saw Mona Lisa again. I was wondering how long until we get her back. And I assume by the end of the season we're gonna have them all fight against the Triceratons. It just makes sense for that to happen. Or maybe also versus Lord Dreg, I don't know, we'll see. But I assume for the end of the episode they're gonna fight against the Triceratons on Earth again. And then in addition to the characters that we had, we're gonna have all these new allies. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm expecting that that's gonna be what's gonna happen. And yeah, in terms of a rating for this episode, I'm gonna give it honestly a 10 out of 10. And I think this might be the first 10 out of 10 that I've given. I don't remember how much I gave the Dreamweavers episode. Now I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10, but I don't remember if I gave it a 10 out of 10 when I watched it originally. But for this one, it's definitely the most 10 out of 10 episode. Whereas like for something for the Dreamweavers, I would probably give it even higher than a 10 out of 10 now because of how fun and how crazy and batshit that episode was. But this was like genuinely like a 10 out of 10 episode. Because there isn't a direction to where I feel like the episode could have gone or it could have pushed further, and there's no parts of it which feel weak or not quite as well done. Like, it's perfect, it's flawless essentially. And yeah, it was a really, really fun episode. I really did enjoy it. Definitely lived up to my expectations for it. And like I said, I really like how those four Utroms in the council looked completely different from each other as a way to show their individuality, because the thing that makes the Utroms, like they said, is that they had individuality and all had different personalities. And then the Krang Supreme, I guess, cloned himself essentially and made a bunch of more Krangs who have no difference in personality whatsoever. So this is a great way to show more of their personality, and I like that the designs for them, at least for like the female ones, like the Queen and the Irma looking one, were designs that we had seen before, because it essentially says that the Krangs have copied that design, which again is kind of something similar to what they did in the 2003 series, where Mr. Mortu created the original Utrom body, and then the Shredder stole it essentially. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode. It was really fun. I like seeing Mikey back in Dimension X and being crazy. Interesting how we didn't really go back to April and Casey like at all. Like, you would think that maybe they would have like a B plot where they have to fight off at least some kind of invasion, be it maybe by Lord Dreg or whatever. I think that could have been a cool side plot, but again, this episode was already very stuffed with plot and characters and stuff, so that might feel a little bit shoehorned in, and I feel like if that happened, I probably would have rated this episode lower, so it's good that it didn't. But yeah, really fun episode. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get into more into more TMNT 2012. Although, for this recording session today, this is gonna be the final one. Tonight I will be recording at least 7 more videos, which means 14 more episodes, so we're gonna be done with this 4th season pretty quickly, I would say. But yeah, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently 3 patrons on Patreon: Omar Bridgman, Deadpool, and Shenches. Thank you guys for your support, I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me that you have decided to support me and have continued to support me for such a long time. I hope you continue to enjoy my content and continue to support me going forward. Thank you very much. And now, before we end this video, I just want to talk about something to you guys very quickly, which some of you may or may have not noticed before or know about me, that being the fact that I am trans. And yes, this may come as shocking to some of you, because I don't really flaunt it that much on my channel, or at least I feel like I don't. Outside of like my K-pop reactions, which is where I feel like the most comfortable being myself like this. And yeah, I am in fact trans. I'm not necessarily full-on male to female, but I heavily want to transition to being pretty female. I do consider myself more non-binary though, or maybe gender fluid would be the best descriptor as well, because I do have occasional moments where I feel fine being like just a normal guy, but most of the time, like right now, I do feel very dysphoric. And that's why I'm asking you guys for any help that you can give me, because my situation right now, I don't really see any way outside of you guys' help. Because, and this is gonna be kept short and concise, I live with my parents. They're never going to accept me as a trans person. They just never will. And as a matter of fact, back when I started the YouTube channel, I was actually kind of slightly starting my transition back then, with like starting to grow out my hair. I even got to DIY HRT, but because my parents started noticing certain things, like my behavior had changed a lot and my clothes had changed a lot, I kind of had to stop doing that, because they were constantly nagging me about cutting my hair and just started to kind of be threatening in a certain way, and felt like they were ashamed of me and everything. And that just kind of stress just tired me out to the point where I just gave up. But as dysphoria goes, it just doesn't go away, you know. I still feel like this, and in fact it's somewhat been intensifying again recently, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. And again, I would really appreciate any amount of support you can give me in regards to this, because I just don't see any way out of this. Because even if I moved out of my parents' house and got myself a job and everything, that's just not gonna work for long-term planning, because once I transition, it's like I probably will not be able to get myself a job, because my country is very transphobic. Nobody gives a shit about LGBT people at all. So there's not even much I can do even in terms of transitioning here. So yeah, I don't know. I just would appreciate any amount of support you can give me, be it monetarily or in any way otherwise. And this is not about boosting my channel or anything, or guilt-tripping you with my sob story. I just wanted to get this off my chest and make my subscribers aware of the situation that I am in, and that I would appreciate anything that you guys can help me out with. It would mean literally everything. Like, for example, a friend that I made after starting this YouTube channel, my good friend Yuri, has been helping me out a lot. And I genuinely might have not been here if it wasn't for him showing up and befriending me. So yeah, this just went a little bit longer than I intended, but I would just really appreciate anything you can support me with. That's kind of ultimately what I'm trying to say. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos for my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon or to my Ko-fi account, where you can pledge your support and help keep the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with someone who you think might enjoy it. And I think this is pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!